Today, we're talking about another non-native creature that's been sweeping its way across the eastern half of the United States. And it's right on time for spooky season. On this episode of Insects for Fun, we'll look at where Joro spiders came from, how they got to America, where they will likely go next, and some fun folklore and cultural facts. Joro spiders are scientifically known as Trichonophila clavata and are found natively in Japan, Korea, China, and Taiwan. In these regions, the Joro spider has been a part of the ecosystem for centuries, weaving its distinctive large webs in forests, fields, and gardens. In Japan, this spider is so common that it's been deeply woven, pun intended, into their folklore and culture. But before we talk about their cultural relevance and folklore, we should cover more basics, along with why people in America are seeing them more and more. Joro spiders are large orb weaver spiders in the family Nephilidae, which are otherwise known as golden orb weavers. If you haven't seen an orb weaver before, they're very large spiders with incredibly large and elaborate webs. Golden orb weavers are a striking yellow with black and red markings, and the Joro is no exception. Joro spiders can grow up to 1 inch in length with a leg span of 4 inches. Their bodies tend to be more on the long side as opposed to plump and spherical, and females are the larger and more colorful of the genders. Males are actually really small in comparison and only have a leg span of 3/4 of an inch, with their bodies only reaching a length of about 0.3 inches, or just a little under 1 centimeter. Males also do not have the bright yellow abdomens, and instead have a more slender brown one. I've seen some videos online of reporters going around New York City sharing a large cutout of a Joro, asking how people feel about having a spider like that around. It's entertaining, but not exactly educational. The cutout is much larger than what you'll actually see, and it's clearly led to have people react in a negative way. But there's really nothing to fear, and here's why. Joro spiders are incredibly shy, and although they look and are indeed venomous, they cannot hurt humans or your animals for that matter. They're designed specifically to feed on other insects. I actually run into these spiders all the time here in Japan, especially around now when they're making webs everywhere, and they always run when their webs get disturbed. A study in Georgia found that these spiders will actually freeze when frightened for up to an hour before beginning to move again, which is well beyond the average time of a minute or less with other spiders. Another fun fact is that Joro spiders have small mouth parts, so even if they do bite you, it's not going to do that much damage. Joro spiders rely on their scary and colorful appearance to ward predators off, as opposed to their actual fighting power and aggression, which both seem to be lacking considerably. The first confirmed sighting of the Joro spider in the US was back in 2014 in Georgia. It's believed that the spider's eggs, or even a few adults, were accidentally transported in shipping containers or cargo, which eventually led to their establishment within the southeastern United States. Since that first sighting, Joro spiders have rapidly expanded their range, and this year, for the first time, they've been found in Boston, Massachusetts. Currently, they can be found in Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Ohio, and now Massachusetts. So far, they've been hitching rides on cars and also using their webs to parachute themselves. Joro spiders are capable of ballooning themselves up to hundreds of miles depending on the wind conditions. But you don't have to worry about flying giant spiders, because this behavior is only seen with the babies. It's currently believed that these spiders will probably make their way across all of the East Coast, even up into Canada, due to their resilience to colder weather. Joro spiders generally make their webs in wooded areas, well under the treetops, but many sources online will tell you that they prefer higher ground. It's not totally clear if they mean higher relative to sea level or higher relative to the ground, but from my experience, I believe it's sea level. I often bump into them or find them blocking my way on hiking paths in Japan, well under the canopy, but I do generally find them more at higher elevations compared to sea level. The webs are large enough to span across hiking trails, and in Japan, they're found commonly making webs all along clearings and forested areas to catch flying insects. These spiders will make webs just about anywhere, even in urban environments, which is how they've now been found in Boston. But have no fear, they won't be making their way into your home. You see, these spiders prefer to be outside, where they can make big and elaborate webs. Let's now shift to talking about the life cycle of a Joro spider. These are most commonly noticed at the end of summer or in the fall months because this is when they reach full size. But Joro spiders hatch from their eggs in spring and are active all summer. These spiders only have one generation a year, and females lay eggs in the fall in a protected area where they can overwinter. The eggs are laid in a silk pouch attached to a tree or under a covered ledge with up to 1,500 tiny eggs inside. That's a lot. But the spiders don't stay together when they hatch. As I mentioned earlier, these spiders use a special web mechanic to fly great distances and spread out. The spiders are so small that they can use a little bit of silk to have even a gentle breeze carry them through the air. Adult Joro spiders use their large webs to catch flying insects like flies, bugs, including the brown stink bug, moths, dragonflies, roaches, butterflies, etc. Although I think butterflies are generally better equipped to avoiding webs, thanks to their evolutionary advantage of independent wing movement. When was the last time you've seen a butterfly in a web? I honestly can't remember. But what I do remember is seeing brown marmorated stink bugs, specifically for the Joro spiders, which is good news for Americans. Brown marmorated stink bugs, as you know, are an invasive from Asia, and spiders that are native to America don't like their taste. However, the Joro spiders that are now in America do, and they're a natural predator to those in Japan, so we now have extra help with getting rid of them in the fall. As for America's native ecosystems, it seems that the Joro spider isn't negatively impacting anything, and right now there's no reason to fear them or try to exterminate them. If anything, they're probably helping to get rid of other more harmful invasives, like the brown marmorated stink bugs. Alright, we now know what Joro spiders eat, but what eats them? Joro spiders are actually pretty well protected, thanks to their yucky venom. But they can also be quite quick when dropping from a web to make an escape. That being said, their predators include bats, some birds, and wasps. Bats can probably tolerate their taste and venom because the venom isn't effective on mammals. And wasps are the xenomorphs of the arthropod world, so of course they can take on spiders. Last but not least, we're now going to get into the folklore and cultural aspects of the Joro spider, beginning with the name. In Japan, where these spiders are native, they're often associated with the supernatural. One of the most famous legends is that of the Joro Gumo, which translates to binding bride or entangled bride. According to the legend, a Joro Gumo is a beautiful woman who can transform into a giant spider. She lures unsuspecting men into her web, where she binds them with silk and devours them. And this is how the spiders got their name. While the Joro Gumo is just a myth, it does show how deeply embedded the Joro spider is in Japanese culture. These spiders have long been a part of local folklore, symbolizing both beauty and danger. It's a reminder of how humans have historically viewed spiders with a mix of awe and fear. And that's gonna wrap up today's episode on the Joro spider. I hope you guys enjoyed learning more about these beautiful spiders, and as always, make sure you go and rate the show. On Spotify, you just have to hit the 3 dots next to the gear icon and select rate. I believe Apple Podcasts makes it even easier. But the best way to support the show is to join the Patreon. Links to everything, including the Instagram and Facebook, are available in the show notes. And thank you, as always, for listening.